cats. Agile hunters with reflexes as fast as lightning. But how smart are they? Can they solve puzzles in return for tasty snacks? No idea, but I wanted to find out. So I made this, a puzzle for cats. And it didn't exactly go to plan. Let's get started. A portion of this video was sponsored by KiwiCo. Last January, on a wet summer's evening, I was driving back from a robot combat event with a friend when he got a text. A stray cat in his neighbourhood he'd been caring for had just given birth to kittens. 6 of them. Being the caring people they are, his family set about taking her in so they could care for the fluffy little jelly beans. And as you can imagine, chaos ensued. And a month later, I went to visit. Well, we all know how that worked out. This is Tully, and this is Prince of Darkness. And I'm now a proud member of the Cat Distribution Network. These street cats have been tearing up the Maker's Muse household for the past few months, and having never owned cats in my life, the last thing I expected was to be constantly finding new and exciting things for them to do. They need constant enrichment and alternate randomly between bouncing off the walls full of energy or completely passing out in new and interesting positions. I am fascinated by animal behavior, so naturally I wanted to give my cats some sort of challenge they could solve. So I went to the local pet shop to try to find some sort of store-bought puzzle for entertainment. Unfortunately, it seems that most of the puzzles on the market are actually more designed for dogs. This one was recommended to me to try, and the mechanics are all wrong. Even if they can uncover the treats, the small, square-walled pockets are poorly suited for their paws, and all the ones on the market seem to be more or less the same. Nah, these cats deserve something better, so I'm determined to make something that's really fun and challenging. This wouldn't be the first time I've created puzzles for animals to solve either. I've made several over the past few years to test the local population of wild cockatoos, and they are wicked smart. But cats are literally a different beast. Can they problem solve? And if they do figure out a solution, do they remember that solution in future? First things first is a bit of research. What grabs their attention? R2 love to bat at small cylindrical rolling objects across the floor, but their favourite toy of all time is just this simple length of cotton rope. So I definitely want to incorporate some of that into the design. Next up, do they have a favourite colour that the puzzle should be made from to grab their attention? Turns out that cat vision has quite a limited colour range compared to our own, as a trade-off for their much superior night vision, but in theory, they should prefer blues or yellows. Results, however, were inconclusive. Finally, the puzzle needs to have a reward, so I went for a kibble with hard uniform pellets that should roll fairly smoothly. Observing their behaviour, cats seem to investigate with their front paws first, batting or trying to grab the toy with their claws, before bringing it to their mouth to investigate further or hold on to. This is obviously very different to the cockatoos who go in beak first and only use their feet secondary, but I think the puzzle should have objects that need to be pulled out to solve, kind of similar to the first cockatoo dowel puzzle I designed several years ago. So I designed this puzzle in Autodesk Fusion, and the main details are these large front and rear windows of laser cut acrylic, because although the cats have a very good sense of smell, I want them to be able to see the kibble as it progresses down the ramp and out the front. The rest of the puzzle is made from PLA plastic, and it all sandwiches together using stainless steel fasteners. For the dowels, I went with an 18mm diameter raw pine, which is nice and soft for them to chew on, but I'm expecting them to be mainly focused on the cotton twine attached to each dowel. Yeah, they love that twine. Tully and Prince may still be kittens, but they're easily big enough to bowl this puzzle over, and when it comes to fastening puzzles down securely, I've learnt my lesson. So this design has 2 thumb screws that lock it down to a plywood plate and a carpet tile for maximum security. There is no way they can tip this thing over, but if I need to remove it quickly, it's super easy. And with that, the puzzle is complete. I give you Snack Attack. In Snack Attack, the kibble is put into the top and held back by a series of dowels, which need to be removed in order for the reward to flow down the ramp and out the front. As far as I'm aware, this is the only cat puzzle of its kind, and I drew upon years of creative experience to bring it to life. I've been a maker and tinkerer for as long as I can remember, and growing up, my parents were really supportive. But back then, there wasn't really anything on the market to support my interests, so I used to try to do things on my own. I remember going to an electronics store and buying a kit and trying to put this kit together with super glue instead of solder. Of course, it didn't work, and I got really upset because I didn't know what I'd done wrong. But with this video's sponsor KiwiCo, you can get quality, hands-on STEAM enrichment delivered to your door every month, and they have a huge range to choose from. This is the Spin Art Machine from KiwiCo's Tinker Crate subscription, and it comes with everything you need to make spin art, which is this wonderfully creative, chaotic, and messy process. The step-by-step instructions are super clear to follow, and I do like that the box is repurposed as part of the build. The machine even has a simple motor controller that you put together yourself using this tiny breadboard and some resistors. And the Tinkerzine is full of the physics and electronics principles involved, because as we all know, there's no better way to educate than getting a little bit messy. I would have loved to have this thing growing up, so if you want to support your kids' learning in a fun, engaging way, then why not give KiwiCo a go? You can use code MakersMuse to get 50% off your first month of monthly lines. Simply head to kiwico.com/makersmuse or follow the link in the video description. But now, let's get back to my fluffy children. How do they like their new puzzle? I wasn't even sure if it would grab their attention, but these two were sitting on top of the puzzle before I even filled it up with treats. And they went to town, sniffing and pouring at it from every angle. Prince was more than a little confused, expecting the treats to come from my hand instead of the puzzle, but Tully, who is less food motivated, was the first to figure out that the dowels could be pulled out. Now these dowels with a string attached are fun little toys on their own, and there's no doubt she loves pulling on them, but what I found interesting is she returned her attention to the puzzle shortly after to pull more out, following the flow of kibble as it ran down the tracks. And after only a short amount of time, she'd figured it out, only for Prince to spring into action and claim the prize. It's just so funny. It's like those group projects from high school where one person will do all the work, only to have the other person take all the credit at the end. This teamwork continued, and after a few goes, Tully got really good at it. Here's one of her attempts without any edits. So clever. But how do these kittens go on their own? Well, Prince, he took a bit of convincing. He really wants you to just give him the treats. He's like, "Father, why are you making me do this?" And he just gives up quickly when he's on his own. He pretends to not be interested, but as soon as you hint at releasing those snacks, oh, well, would you look at that? He's back. Tully on her own, however, is a totally different story. She seems to view the puzzle as more of a toy with snacks sometimes, rather than desperately trying to get the kibble. She'll pull at the dowels, then just play with them, and more often than not, walk away and play with something elsewhere, even with kibble still clearly visible inside. So I gathered my findings to create the final version of Snack Attack, an interactive puzzle toy for cats. This puzzle is designed for entertainment as well as being a rewarding problem to solve. It has 5 dowels blocking the path of kibble, as well as the newly invented kitty spinner, patent pending. This is a little wheel that catches stray kibble and can be battered at to release them, and they absolutely love this thing. I kick things off with Prince on his own and the puzzle freshly loaded up with tasty kibble, and this time he doesn't have his clever sister to help out. She was sleeping in another room, so if he wants to get those treats, he has to get them himself. And you know what? He actually starts to figure things out, but not in the way I expected. Instead of just pulling out the dowels like Tully does, he bats at them and pushes them out from the back of the puzzle. And would you believe it, this technique actually works. He jumps around the front of the puzzle to enjoy his reward. And this was the funniest thing to watch, because he kept doing this again and again and again. He'd push the dowels from the back, free some kibble, jump to the front excitedly, eat the kibble, go to the back again, push some more dowels, and back and forth. Prince buddy, you could just pull him out from the same side the kibble comes out of, but nah, this is his solution, and he is sticking with it. But keeping these cats apart is pretty much impossible, so with them together, it makes sense that they would combine their powers to attack the puzzle from both angles. And this is where they truly shine. Tully pulls the dowels out from the front, and Prince pushes them from the back. And they both seem to really enjoy it. They'll play with this thing for hours on end, and when I eventually do take it away, they'll wander around the house trying to figure out where I put it. These little fur babies may not be as clever as the local cockatoos, which do seem to tolerate their presence, by the way, but they're able to figure out things on their own all the same, and they have a blast doing so. If you'd like to create your own snack attack puzzle, then you can find files in the Makers Muse community. It's only $5 a month to join, and you get behind the scenes content, and you can ask questions in our very popular and successful troubleshooting forum. And if you have any ideas for future puzzles I can make for these cats, then please let me know in the comments below. If you're a proud member of the Cat Distribution Society, as I am, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on the behaviors of your pets. Big thanks to KiwiCo for sponsoring this video. Remember, you can get 50% off your first month of monthly lines using code MakersMuse, and I look forward to seeing you again very shortly. Catch you later, guys. Bye.